The Real McCoys, starring Walter Brennan, created by Irving Pincus.
Want you to meet the family known as the Real McCoys. That's Grandpappy Amos, the head of the clan. He roars like a lion, but he's gentle as a lamb. And now here's Luke, who beams with joy since he may take Mrs. Luke McCoy. From West Virginia they came to stay in sunny California. Old Grandpappy Amos and the girls and the boys of the family known as the Real McCoys.
Amen. Amen. I have several announcements to make. Next Tuesday night, here in Fellowship Hall, we shall have a distinguished guest lecture. Professor Ralph Murdoch, once doctor of psychology in Upland University. The professor will talk to us on a subject that I personally consider vitally important to all of you: the evils of gambling. He will show how even a seemingly innocent appearing game like penny ante poker can lead a man to despair and degradation. I'm looking forward to a large turnout for that most important lecture.
Hope he ain't got nothing against dominoes.
Only the galloping kind.
Now, as some of you may or may not know, Emma Turnbull has had to relinquish her position on our fundraising committee. Mr. Turnbull's work has taken him north to San Francisco. I've been asked to select her successor. Now, if you'll all turn to page 27, we'll end our prayer meeting with hymn number 31.
Golly, would I like to get on that committee.
You would? Well, maybe I can fix it for you with the Reverend.
You just leave it to us, Kate.
Now, Grandpa, don't you or Luke say a thing.
Good night. Good night.
Night, Reverend.
Good night.
I'll be looking forward to attending that lecture next week.
We'll all be there.
Yeah, Reverend, wish when you was thinking about ladies for that committee, you'd sort of think of my granddaughter here.
Yeah, she'd sure like to get on it.
Yeah.
Grandpa.
Well, that's what you said. I heard you.
No, but you don't have to be so forward about it.
Well, why not? Sure. Why, nobody ever got any place backing up. Reverend, if you'd pick Kate on the committee, I know she'd do her darndest.
And you know, if anybody can get money out of some of these old skin prints around here, Kate sure can do it.
Yes, I'm sure Mrs. McCoy would do a fine job.
Well, see there, did you hear that, honey? Say, Reverend, we'd all of us be honored if you and the missus would honor us with the privilege of your honor.
Oh, yeah, Reverend, shucks. What the boy's trying to say is we'd like to have you and Mrs. Reverend come over to supper Saturday night.
Well, I'm afraid Mrs. Berquist won't be here. You see, she's visiting her sister for a few days in Pomona. But I happen to be free that night.
Yeah, well, why don't you just come on by yourself?
Yeah, come on over. Bring your biggest appetite. Ain't going to be nothing fancy, but we're sure going to have enough of it.
Good night, Reverend.
Good night.
Ain't it pretty? Luke, Grandpa. See? Real silver.
Silver? Where'd you get this?
Flora McMichaels. She let me borrow it so we can make a good impression when the Reverend comes to dinner.
They should make a right smart impression, sure.
Look what else she let me have. Her best tablecloth.
The best? See, that's full of holes.
Grandpa, it's Spanish lace. That's the way it's made.
I can make you one of them with a shotgun and a bedsheet.
Good afternoon. My name is Leo Dunstetter. I represent the Full View Signboard Company.
That ain't a very big signboard.
That's my business card.
Oh. Well, what is it, Grandpa?
Good afternoon. Leo Dunstetter, Full View Signboard Company.
Leo Dunstetter. Well, let me see your... Leo Dunstetter. Yeah?
They both say the same thing. I reckon that's who he is.
Are you Mr. McCoy?
Yeah, but I ain't got no card to prove it. You have to take my word for it.
Well, may I come in for a moment? I'd like to talk a business proposition over with you.
Yeah. Watch yourself, Luke.
This here's my wife, Kate. This is Mr.
Leo Dunstetter, Full View Signboard Company.
Now, what was this business proposition you wanted to talk about?
Well, Mr. McCoy, as I was driving by, I noticed your barn. It needs a paint job pretty badly, doesn't it?
Oh, barn painters, huh? Well, we ain't interested.
Now, just a minute, Mr. McCoy. You didn't let me finish.
You don't have to finish. Look, the day that it rains whitewash, that's the day we get the barn painted.
How would you like to have your barn painted absolutely free, without any cost to you whatsoever?
Well, that's the price we could pay, but what's the hitch?
Well, there's no hitch. Our company will give you a first-class paint job if you'll allow us to paint a sign on the roof.
Oh, you mean an advertising sign?
Exactly.
Is that all there is to it?
That's all. That's all, Mr. McCoy.
I don't know, Grandpa. A sign on the barn roof. How's that going to look?
Well, it's going to look just like a sign on the barn roof. We seen 100 of them on the way here from West Virginia.
It sounds all right to me, honey.
It's all right to me, too. You know how much it costs to paint that barn? $200-300.
Well, maybe even more, judging from the condition it's in. Now, I have a little agreement here for you to sign.
Hey, looks legal, all right, ain't it?
Oh, by the way, this paragraph here, you don't pay any attention to that. That refers to billboards. You see, it's been crossed out.
Oh, yeah, I seen that as soon as I took it.
Well, what do you say, Mr. McCoy? Any questions about the agreement?
Well, no, I guess not. Don't see no invisible writing on it. It's all right, but we never signs nothing unless we has a sort of a family meeting.
I understand. I'll wait out on the porch.
I don't know, Grandpa. What are people going to think? They're going to say we can't afford to paint our own roof.
Well, we can't.
Everybody doesn't have to know it.
Well, maybe Kate's right. It sort of ain't dignified.
Will you listen to the king and the queen of Siam? Ain't dignified, he says, and him about to have the seat of his overalls to fall out. Is it more dignified to have the barn go without no paint, ain't all?
No, but...
Well, now, look, you better shake a few of the highfalutin ideas out of Her Majesty's head here, and quit your yapping and get this barn painted and get them papers signed.
Well, it appears to be what the man said.
You can come in now, Mr. Dunstetter.
Well, what did you decide?
Well, get your paint out. You got yourself a deal.
Fine, fine. Just sign right there on the bottom line.
Wait a minute now. Yeah?
That's it.
You mind if you use your bag?
No, go right ahead. Thank you. Congratulations.
Mighty pretty, Mr. Dunstetter. Mighty pretty.
Oh, our men do first-class work. I think that sign looks real good up there, don't you?
Yeah. Sort of gives the barn something to say.
Yes, it does.
It says it nice and loud, too.
Oh, you'll be able to see that sign for miles. You know, just reading it makes me want to get up at that table. How about you?
Reading it makes me hungry, too.
Well, my men should be through in a little while. I'll be back in a couple hours to check up on the job.
You.
I just wanted to let you out at the front door.
Oh, land sakes, you nearly threw me out.
Yeah, well, come on, we better get these groceries in the house.
Ooh, why are you so jumpy?
No, I ain't jumpy. I just want to
Well,
get all
what
these
is
groceries
the matter
out. Come
with
on,
you?
honey, we better hurry up. Better hurry.
He's got to
No, the Reverend's coming to dinner now.
I know it,
You've
but-
got a lot to do, so you better get in the house and get at it.
I've got lots of time. You won't be here till tonight.
No, you don't want to put off everything till the last minute now, do you? Now, you just put all this stuff away. You stay in the house now. I'll bring in the rest of the groceries. No, you stay there.
Luke, have you seen the barn? Sure is pretty.
That's so little, Grandpa. Kate ain't seen it yet.
What's the matter?
Do you know what the sign on our barn's advertising?
No, that's what I want to find out. What we're selling.
Well, We're selling sin. That's what we're selling. That sign on our barn is advertising a gambling hall.
Gambling halls?
Do you know what the preacher thinks about gambling?
Now, are you going to bring in them
Oh,
girls?
no, I'll bring them in. You just stay in
let
the
me
house.
help
No,
you.
I don't need no help. I don't need no help. Grandpa, help me. I don't need no help. No. I don't want you to strain yourself.
Well, let's
No,
just get
we
it
can't let
inside
Kate
the
see
house.
the barn now.
Acting like so. Look at the barn. Gambling is best at luck.
Now, don't get yourself all riled up, sugar.
You know how Reverend Berquist feels about gambling. What's he going to think of us?
How's the Reverend going to see it?
Is he going to miss it? That's so hard now. Everything's ruined.
Oh, we can't.
I didn't know what sort of sign it's going to be.
Yeah, well, none of us knew, Grandpa. Maybe if we'd listened to Kate in the first place.
Well, now, wait a minute. What's more important, that we get the barn painted or Kate gets on some fool church committee?
Well, now, that committee's awful important to Kate.
Oh, that ain't what I asked you. I asked you what's most important.
Well, I'll leave that up to you, Grandpa. I'm going in and see how Kate's doing.
I'm going to ask you a question. I want an honest answer.
Oh, those are the only answers I ever answer with.
Well, what's the most important, that we get our barn painted or Kate gets on some darn fool church committee?
What do you think is more important, Senor Grandpa?
I think it's more important we get the barn painted.
Si, senor. I think it's more important, too.
You do, huh?
Absolutely.
Well, it ain't.
Well, I can only get 1 gallon, Senor Grandpa.
Yeah, that ought to be enough to cover that sign. Say, that's yellow paint. I told you to get red.
Well, I could not help it. I had to borrow whatever I could get for nothing.
A red barn with a yellow roof.
We'll have the most romantic barn in the whole valley.
Looks like a goddamn circus wagon. That's what it looks like.
Well, it's better than what it looks like now.
Well, come on, get up on the ladder.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, Senor Grandpa, this lie is very old, and the roof is very high, and the ground is very hard.
You know, if you don't quit arguing, get up. Get up on the ladder. I'll hold it for you.
Senor Grandpa, just remember, I'm carrying a lot of breakable things.
Like what?
Arms and legs.
Pino, if you don't quit talking back and get up on that ladder, you'll go up at the end of a pitchfork.
Well, hold on. This ladder is shaking like anything.
Oh, that ain't the ladder. That's you that shit. Come on, get down. Get down. Get down.
Grandpa, Pino, what are you doing?
Oh, we're going to fix that sign. That's what we're doing.
What, do you mean you're going to paint over it?
Well, that's the general idea.
You can't do that.
Well, you want Kate to get on that church committee, don't you?
Well, sure I do.
Well, you got a better idea?
Hold the ladder and hand that stuff up to me.
Here, who's that?
From the signboard.
Hey, belly down up there. Keep catching here. We'll show.
Stop by to check to make sure the boys have finished.
Yeah, we're just fine. Everything's fine, yeah.
What's that ladder doing there?
Ladder? What ladder?
Ladder.
Ladder. Oh, that ladder. I don't know. There's... Painters must have left it here. I never seen that ladder before.
Well, I'll send somebody by to pick it up. How do you like the sign?
Oh, I think it's just fine. Just fine.
Hey, who's up there?
Who's up where?
Right up there.
Up there. Oh, that's my grandson, Luke, with his big feet.
Howdy.
What are you doing up there?
Well, I was just looking at the sign.
Hey, he's a mite near sight.
Better get down from there. That paint's still wet.
Rightly nice of you to come around, show interest, and see everything's all right.
Not so sure about that. You people act like you're up to something.
No, what makes you say that?
What's this?
Well, that's paintbrush.
You always carry around a paintbrush?
Well, you see, I ain't got no fountain pen.
What you were trying to do? You were trying to paint over that sign. I've had trouble like that before.
Now, you listen here, mister. If we'd known what kind of sign he was going to put up there, we'd never agreed to it.
Well, you did agree, and I'm holding you to it. And if you ever try to paint that sign over again, I'm going to sue you for the cost of painting your barn plus damages. And just to make sure that you don't try it again, I'm going to be checking up on you from time to time.
Oh, it ain't no use, Grandpa.
Well, what are we going to do now, Grandpa?
Well, Peppino, we just got to think. Just think, that's all. How do you expect a man to think when you're staring at him like a hoot owl?
Well, Grandpa?
I've got it, Peppino, I've got it.
I knew you'll think of something.
Sure, I didn't think about it before. This fixes everything.
What fixes everything?
I'm going to burn down the barn.
You cannot do that, senora.
Don't tell me I can't burn it down. It's my barn. I can burn it down every day in the week if I want.
Yeah, but the man from the signboard company.
I ain't going to touch the sign. If it can't stand a little heat, that ain't my lookout.
That's great. I'm going to let you do it. Help somebody! Help! Somebody! You never want to set the barn on fire to get rid of the sign.
Hey, don't you tell me I can't do it. I can do anything I want. It's my barn.
Grandpa, you were going to do it for me.
Don't you get all soppy-eyed. Turn me loose.
You can't, Grandpa.
Hey, boy, what's this all about?
Luke, Grandpa wants to burn down the barn.
You stay out of this, Luke, now. I'm going to fix that sign once and for all.
No, Grandpa, you don't have to burn down the barn. I already took care of the sign. And I fixed it so the Reverend's going to like it now, too.
What do you mean?
Well, come on, look for yourself. Come on. Look at there. Huh?
Some of the lettuce is missing.
No, I covered them up with some pieces of tar paper.
Oh, Luke, you're wonderful.
What's it say?
Gambling is a sin.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm sorry I'm late. I had a christening at 4:30 o'clock.
Well, that's all right, Reverend. Supper won't be ready for a little while yet anyways.
I couldn't help but notice your barn as I drove up. I didn't know that I had such devoted members in my congregation.
Well, we try to spread the word any way we can.
Yeah, we figured it's just a sort of a message to the folks driving by that ain't seen the lights yet.
Yeah, well, come on in and sit down, Reverend.
Why don't you all go out on the porch and wait till supper's ready? It's kind of warm in here with the oven going.
Fine. This is my favorite time of day.
Yeah, well, you just... Why don't you say something about the fundraising committee?
Well, you can't just come right out and say it. You got to sort of wiggle into
Well,
it.
start wiggling.
We got to work it in the conversation sneaky like.
Set yourself down there, Reverend.
Yeah. Looks like a wind's coming up.
Yeah, sure does. Yeah, it's getting windy, all right.
Feels good, though.
Feels real good. Don't it, Grandpa?
Speaking of fundraising committees, you picked a lady for that yet, Reverend?
Grandpa?
I ain't no wiggler. What's on my mind's on my tongue. Say, how about putting my granddaughter on that committee?
I'd be very pleased to have Kate on my committee. That is, if she's sure she wants to be on it.
Wants to? Why, Reverend, there ain't nothing she'd rather do.
I'm glad to hear that. I'd like to see Kate interested in church activities.
And you know, back home in West Virginia, she once got a Bible for perfect attendance at Sunday school.
Kate's not the only McCoy I'm fond of. You've got a mighty fine family here, Amos.
I'm rightly proud of myself.
Grandpa, it's getting awful windy out here. Why don't we all go in the house?
Good. How about you, Reverend?
I'm very comfortable.
Yeah, well, Reverend, I think there's something the Reverend ought to see inside.
What?
Something he shouldn't ought to see out here.
What's wrong with you, Luke?
Well, there ain't nothing wrong with me. Nothing. I just think it's awful windy out here, and it's blowing things around and off the barn roof. I think we all ought to go inside the house. Now,
What is it, Pepe?
El viento está volando todo el cartón de techal del granero.
What?
El viento está volando todo el cartón de techal del granero.
Talk United States. I don't understand that lingo.
He's trying to tell you, Amos, that all the tar paper has been blown off the barn roof.
Holy
gambling is best at Las Vegas Inn.
Supper's ready. I'm sorry I kept you waiting.
I'm sorry you kept us waiting, too.
Why, what's...
All my fault, Reverend. I let them put that sign up there. Kate didn't have nothing to do with it, Atoll.
It's just as much my fault as it is anybody's, Reverend. I guess that's what we get for trying to deceive you.
Would have been all right, too, if it wasn't for the god-darn wind.
Amos, perhaps that wind came for a purpose. To show you had nothing to hide.
Hide? Why, she'll never get on that committee now.
Why not?
Well, you know how the Reverend is. You know you're like that, ain't you?
Amos, I try to judge a person by what's in his heart, not what's on his barn roof. And this certainly hasn't changed my opinion of Kate, or any of you.
It hasn't?
Well, after all, you couldn't turn down a free paint job. That wouldn't be good business.
Of course not.
And you had no idea what sort of sign it would be?
No idea at all.
Neither did I. I just knew I was getting my barn painted.
Reverend, you mean you got a sign on your barn roof, too?
A huge one.
Advertising a gambling hall?
The Whoopee Club. Best burlesque in the West.